Despite the challenges, the UN Refugee Agency remains vigilant in protecting the rights of these defenseless people. On any given day, in any region of the world, the UN Refugee Agency could be sending staff to a refugee crisis. When conflict forces people to flee, UNHCR needs to be on the spot to help. Those first people on the ground are UNHCR's emergency team. They're the ones who'll set up operations and procedures for all those who follow. In recent years, humanitarian work has become increasingly complex. The escalation of civil wars has changed the nature of conflict. The result is that refugees and the aid workers who assist them can be caught in the crossfire. This ever-changing environment requires quick and creative thinking. That's one reason why UNHCR's emergency staff receive special training.
In an emergency, first of all, you have to establish a team that can work together. I think that is the starting point with good leadership. And then after, from an individual perspective, you have to remain focused. You have to know exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing.
Initially, in any emergency response, one expects to see a good deal of chaos. I mean, that's what an emergency is. It's chaos. And UNHCR, I think, has a particular expertise in being able to begin to bring order to the chaos.
Adding to the chaos is the fact that no two refugee crises are the same. Each presents a completely new set of challenges, whether it's a mass exodus, a relocation, or a massive repatriation. The obstacles are vastly different. In northeastern Kenya, staff airlifted emergency aid to a refugee camp which had been damaged and cut off from supplies by torrential rains.
The problem that we have is that the area that we're in, with 150,000 refugees, has been cut off by road now for 1 month. So we're very keen to get these supplies in as quickly as possible.
For the last 10 years, the Democratic Republic of Congo has been the scene of the world's deadliest conflict since World War II. In North Kivu, an estimated 400,000 Congolese, caught between warring factions, have fled their homes since early 2007. The challenge here was how to house the new arrivals.
The humanitarian situation in North Kivu has deteriorated. After fighting in the Masisi area, we see hundreds of new displaced marching towards Goma. We are right now at a site here called Mugunga, which is between Goma and Sake. We've seen here many new arrivals. People estimate there's between 300 and 500 people just in this school here, camping out in a school building under really difficult conditions.
Ilikuwa mbio sana juu na tulionaye bamepanika zile chuma kwanza zikupa bombe mubatu, tukasema sasa utakimbia na nini? Ukakimbia na kikombe hiwili, ukakimbia na kakigunia, kama kuna watoto wa mingi utakimbia na nini? Hakuna. So na bulengaje tuko na chuma tunakosa cha kukula.
When refugees flee their homes, it's often with only the clothes on their backs. They lack the basic tools for living. They're searching for a way to survive. Once registered as refugees, UNHCR goes about getting them temporarily settled in refugee camps. There they receive life-saving food, water, medical care, and the basic necessities for life. When conflict strikes, it's the weakest who are most often affected. In any refugee crisis, between 75 and 80% of those fleeing their homes are women and children. Often abandoned and left to fend for themselves, displaced women search for safety for themselves and for their families.
Ninafika hapa ulie nipate kataka nguvu kwa kusema nitumikie watoto. Nikifika hapa nikiwaza ile mawazo yote ya wakaka yangu na vile njari na nisumbua. Ona vile tunalala hapa kumajiwe na baridi, mvura hiki natunyeshea sana. Na hapa hakuna kwenye naweza kwenda kutumikia mbutapata ka chakula. Basi ile mawazo yote ilinifikia mroho nikigonjwa tansio. Hivi niko mgonjwa.
In refugee camps, there is relative safety, yet security remains a concern. Camps are designed so women won't have to walk long distances alone to fetch food and water. Women are also encouraged to get involved in the camp leadership to make sure their views are known.
So this is essential for UNHCR to identify those vulnerable and to ensure that they receive proper assistance. They are not left out.
Refugee women overcome enormous odds and take on new challenges. Without the new responsibilities of being a mother, father, and a wage earner. And while they've lost nearly everything they own, these extraordinary women rarely lose sight of their dreams for the future.
Because feeling all the children they know. The first thing I want to let me children then educate. Then we'll try we build house for children then. Because for now no home for we.
Refugee women not only take on new roles, they're also keen to learn new skills. The ability to support one's family is in itself a form of protection and source of confidence for these women.
Ça leur donne un peu plus de pouvoir dans la société, aussi d'être impliquées elles-mêmes dans une activité, qu'elle soit génératrice de revenus ou pas aussi. Quand elles apprennent quelque chose, ça leur donne confiance en elles et sur d'autres aspects de leur vie, elles vont s'en servir de cette nouvelle confiance en soi.
Refugee children want to play sports and games like other kids. In many camps, there's little to do, and idle youngsters easily become despondent. An effort to bring sporting equipment into camps has been a huge success. A simple football or volleyball net is a positive way to bring people together. Ask a refugee child what they want most in the world, and the reply will most likely be to go to school. In countries convulsed by conflict, generations of children are uneducated and illiterate. In most refugee camps, there are schools. Despite the rudimentary classrooms and lack of supplies, refugee children are eager students. Unfortunately, there's usually not enough funding or resources to provide secondary education. This is a luxury that most refugee children can only dream about.
أحسن التعليم ده منظمات ساعدونا التعليم ده ماشي كويس ولكن العيال الكبار ده عيال الكبار ماشي في ثانوية وكده ده تاني سكتوا لأنه ثانوية ما في ومدرسة ده كمان أساس بس هنا في عائق شوية.
Education for refugee women and children is essential. With training and education, refugees can be more productive and less vulnerable to exploitation while they're in exile, and more importantly, when they're able to go home. When refugees become self-sufficient, they too can help reconstruct their shattered countries.